Welcome back to another Sim Sculpting Sundays. Today we are working on quite the interesting Sim. She is known commonly as Lady Di or the Diva Mummy. I tried to look up the Mandarin pronunciation, but I kept pronouncing it really wrong, so I'm going to include a link to the Wikipedia page. We do actually know this woman's name though. She was alive between 217 BC and either 168 or 169 BC. So this is an incredibly old mummy, and her body is notable basically as being one of the most well-preserved mummies ever found. There's actually a video of when they were doing essentially an autopsy when they found her, because she was so well preserved. They could see what was in her stomach. Like, she was in good shape for being an extremely old mummy. Like, she looked like someone who had died recently. They still, I don't believe, know exactly the technique of preserving her body. Like, they have kind of an idea, but they don't know how on earth she managed to basically just be a fresh corpse. Which probably sounds a little morbid, but I'm just saying, like, it's incredible as well that back in literal 217 BC, they were able to basically preserve bodies this well. So that's primarily the reason why I know of her and why I chose her, but there's also a really cool wax sculpture reconstruction of her face, which is what I used to go ahead and create this Sim. I did not have the right hair, I'm just going to say that now. Really didn't have the right outfit either. I have basically like 3 different options that are close enough to her outfit, and I went with one of the fanciest one. I don't claim to be an expert on Chinese culture. I did my best. But yeah, I just liked her face as well, like the face that's on the wax sculpture. I just think it's very unique, and her story is interesting. The fact that we know so much about this woman, like, hello? We know what her lifestyle was like, we know what she ate, we know they were basically able to figure out all of the different ailments and things that she suffered from, which is, again, weirdly morbid, but fascinating. Like, that's just things that you wouldn't be able to know otherwise. But I do think it's interesting that one of the things that she had wrong with her was she loved her food, and she had a very sedentary lifestyle. Like, she had diabetes, she had liver disease, like, she had a lot going on. Her arteries were, and I quote, almost totally clogged. But if you look at the wax sculpture, we are a dainty and demure and petite little thing. I just thought that was kind of funny. I'm just like, really? Really? She had a compressed spinal disc that was probably causing her immense pain. She clearly was not active, but we're gonna make her teeny tiny, tinier than I am, and I am a small human. I am 5'2". I'm just saying. So yeah, that was something that I noticed. What else is kind of a thing that I could pick out? Like, we knew who her husband was. Like I said, that we really know a lot of the foods that she had, a lot of the textiles and clothing that she would wear. She liked to throw parties. She took with her to the afterlife basically a whole set to throw, like, an amazing party. It's very likely that she liked to play music. I'm looking at this word and I cannot say it probably the way that it's supposed to be said. It looks like it's guqin, which is a 7-string Chinese musical instrument. Very cool looking. But yeah, she had that with her as well. So the mummy was actually found, I really don't, I should prepare for these better, but that's part of my charm at this point, right? She was found in 1968. They were digging for an air raid shelter for a hospital. They found her and the tombs of her husband and a young man who's thought to be her son, but there's not for sure. And then with the assistance of over 1,500 local high school students, archaeologists began the excavation of the site in 1972. I'm sure that's great for the students. Not traumatizing at all. Unless they're like me, then they were probably thrilled. It was found within 4 rectangular pine constructs that sat one inside the other, kind of like in Egypt where they'd have the multiple sarcophagus. They were buried beneath layers of charcoal and white clay, and her body was wrapped in 20 layers of clothing bound with silk ribbons. They think this actually helped prevent a lot of decay because the insects just could not get to her. The silk would smother them. And then there was also 4 coffins of decreasing sizes enclosed around one another. The outermost is painted black, which is the color of death in the underworld. And then all painted images sealed inside this coffin were thus designed not for the outside viewer, but for the deceased, and concern the themes of death and rebirth. Also protection in the afterlife and immortality. Because, you know, we need to let the people know. Personally, if I was dead, I would just appreciate, like, some books or something. But hey, everybody's got their own opinions. I could go on and read, like, all of the really cool, incredible things that they found, but like I said, I'll put the article down below, and then definitely watch all of the documentaries and videos that you can, because it's super cool. And like I said, yes, they recorded the autopsy that they did. It's far away, like they zoom in sometimes, but like you can see parts where like her hand just moves, no problem. And I'm so used to seeing like Egyptian mummies where it's just like Skeletor, sometimes kind of terrifying. And those do not move. Like, I feel like if you breathed on those wrong, they would turn into dust. And yeah, this was just totally different. One thing that I do know is that they are struggling to kind of, ever since they've basically unsealed her, they have been struggling to, like, keep her preserved. In 2003, they did develop a secret compound that's been injected into her existing blood vessels to assure her preservation. But they're very concerned about, basically, after all of this time of her being left in peace, she might fall apart. Hopefully she doesn't, but like, once you let in air, And there's also pictures of the mummy as well, if you're interested in that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.